All right, I'm going to tie a fly called the Steelhead Cameron. It's a Steve Cullin pattern. So what I have in the vise is a size 4 mustad lowboy, and then I've got some 140 UTC ultra thread and fire orange. Just going to start my thread up just before the return, a little ways, and come back past the return and trim that out. Next, I want to get some copper medium tinsel. And I'm just going to tie this in right here at the return. Whoop. There we go. And we're just going to bring this back slightly into the bend, just past the barb. Not too far. That's good. Try to keep that thread flat for this. And then we're going to bring that up to in between the barb and the point. I'm going to spin my thread up here real quick, just so I can kind of get it out of the way. And tie this off on the bottom side. Oops. Slid on me a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of work this up just to get it out of the way. Cut it off. I'm only going to take it up to the front half because we're going to dub this front portion. So that's good. Okay. I'll go ahead and bring my thread back. I need to use some Sally Hansen's or something right here on the tag if you wanted. Okay, next I want to get a golden pheasant tippet. And we're going to strip some of this stuff off. And a nice full tail on this. And tie this in on the side. And let that kind of roll up top. And I'm going to draw that all forward. Until I've got something about like that. It's kind of the easiest way I've found to tie in a full tippet. And we'll go ahead and bring this up just to get it out of the way. We are going to use floss on this back half, so you want to try to keep it somewhat nice, but it doesn't have to be like ridiculously nice either. Okay. Next I'm going to take my copper wire. I'm going to tie this in on the bottom side with a couple of turns. And next I'm going to get, I don't know, something decent to work with, maybe a 10-inch piece of chartreuse floss. I'm not using anything fancy here, just some uni chartreuse. And go ahead and start tying them both back. I can grab both of them and hold them in place at the same time. And work them to the back. I like that chartreuse on top so that I can work that first easily. And go ahead and just start to move. Now you can take your time and flatten all this floss out a whole lot, or however you like to do it. But I've had some more people ask me to do, or I should say I've had some people ask me to do some more steelhead type stuff. Their fishing patterns a little easier and quicker to tie. So when you're more concerned about fishing and not the overall look of it, you know, stuff like this where you can see there's kind of some segmentation and a little bit of the orange showing through. That's not a super big deal in a case like this. Whoop. I won't strip that too quickly. Next, we're going to go ahead and dub this front portion. You just want a bright orange dubbing. I want to use some hairline ice dub and hot orange. But you can really use whatever you want, seal fur or Arizona semi-seal or dry fly dub, or I don't know, whatever you got, nymph dub. I'll get the look. The look is what we're really after. Not sure that in this particular case one is going to hugely outperform another. And we don't need a huge taper or prop or anything like that, just enough to kind of cover the thread up. That's pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and bring this rib forward through all of it. You want about, I don't know, 4 to 5 turns through the chartreuse. Another 2 to 3 coming through the orange. You could probably change this up into a few different colors, I'd imagine, if you want to give it a try and say you don't have quite these colors, or maybe do a nice blue and purple or something. Okay. Next you can use some like mallard flank or teal or gadwall or lemon barred wood duck, just something with some nice speckling to it. And I'm just prepping this feather. It's a little easier to do not in front of the camera. I'm going to tie this in soft tackle style. And we can trim that out. And I'm going to strip one side off. I'm going to strip the side that's going actually around the shank off. Just don't need quite that much coming out here. And we're just doing a turn or two. Let me spin this up again real quick. So that you have something about like that. I'm trying to get to flare a little more, but it may just want to lay flat, and that's cool too. It's going to do that in the water anyway. Let me get one more in. There we go. I'm going to trim this out and tease this stuff out just a fuzz. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Let's see. Next, we're going to add some crystal flash for the underwing. And what this pattern calls for is green crystal flash, kind of like, you know, Christmas green crystal flash. So all I'm doing is taking one strand and doubling it over a few times. And we want this to come out to about the back of the black tip there. I'll place a couple of turns in there. Fold the rest of the back. Then you can kind of come in and randomly trim out whatever you don't need. That's pretty good. After that, we're going to move to a chartreuse hackle. You could use a grizzly hackle if you wanted here, if that's all you got. What we're looking for is the actual length. So you want it to be longer than the, you know, your barred flank. And we're only going to put about a turn or two in here as well. So we'll go ahead and tie this in soft hackle style. Oh, let me get that to spin up. It's been a while since I've used any really thick flat thread like UTC. I just don't use it much anymore. I'm going to fold that over. Capture that. Trim that out. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take one side off. Don't want to overdo it. Want some of these nice colors to show through. Nice highlights. That's good. And if you prefer, you can draw some of this down to towards the bottom. Next for the wing, I've just got a big, huge, fluffy piece of marabou. I'm going to get some of this off the tail just so it's not going to be used anyway and it'll just get in the way. I'm just going to kind of draw all of this in one direction. You may have to play with it a few times to get it to kind of get the curvature you want. And you also want this to sit right in line with your crystal flash, basically. Try that again one time. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to do a couple of pinch turns here. Just pull down, get that thing to flare open for me. Put a few more in the back, a couple to the front. And trim this out. I don't tie a lot of steelhead flies, but boy, they sure are fun just because they're so bright and vibrant, you know, and they get my younger daughter to really open her eyes, especially when it gets into like the purples and pinks and stuff. and kind of entice her to come back down and tie with me, which is always fun. Love getting the kids to tie. It's a good hobby for them. And we're just going to finish off the head. And to do that, I'm going to use a wet whip. First learned about that wet whip from Charlie Craven. That guy really knows his stuff. I use it just about on everything anymore. From salmon flies to midges. That's good enough. This is a fish and fly. So there we go. The Steelhead Cameron. Drop me a line if there's something you'd like to see tied. Let me know. I'd be happy to try to at least take a crack at it and help you out if you're struggling with it. So yeah, make sure you drop a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We'd love to have you stick around and get into some further conversations and other videos. And as always, everybody, happy tying, take care, and we'll see you next time.